Go ahead.
Today we are going to be planting a mini pine tree in a sky baby Grobal for Declan. To plant a baby Grobal, you're going to need a few items, mainly water, paper towels to clean up any mess you make, a pair of scissors to open any packaging, your Grobal, and the plant. To start, you're going to want to open the Grobal box. Make sure that all the contents are there. It should contain the Grobal itself. Inside the Grobal you'll find the cup which you're going to plant into, the soil to fill, instructions, and 3 nutrient packs. We'll just set the Grobal to the side. We're going to focus on the cup, the soil, we don't need instructions, and the plant. To begin with, you're going to want to open up the Grobal soil packet. Fill the Grobal cup 1/2 to 2/3 of the way full, depending on the root size of the plant that you pick. We're going to start with 1/2. Now, in order to get this plant in here, by the way, you're going to want to pick a 2 to 3 inch plant to start with for this size Grobal to make it easier for you. But in order to get this plant in there, we're going to have to remove some of this soil because you can see it's quite a larger pot. So to do that, you gently remove the plant from the existing container, and you want to gently remove this soil without damaging the root structure. It's easiest to do by dipping it in water and gently massaging the soil away. Remember not to damage the roots because that will cause problems for the plant. And just swirl it in the water a little bit to help break things up. Now, as you can see, it's sometimes difficult to remove all of the soil, in which case we'll leave some of it because it's better to leave the roots intact than to tear them all apart just trying to get a little bit of dirt away from them. We just remove as much as possible, and in this case we're going to have to remove at least one of these from the grouping in order to make it fit. And just gently peel them away. Like so. So we'll set these to the side for later use. These 3 will remove as much of the remaining soil as possible. Again, just gently swirl them around, not damaging the roots whatsoever, until you feel that you can transplant it comfortably into the container. At which point you simply drop it into the existing container. And that's why you want to leave half that soil in there. Makes it a lot easier, you've got something to rest on. Now, the next step is going to be to backfill the remaining area in the container using the remaining Grobal soil. By the way, the Grobal soil contains core fiber, perlite, humus, and a little bit of nutrients and minerals to help the plant kind of establish itself. Just basically pour it in. Still being gentle with the roots. You don't want to damage anything or be too stressful on the plant because that'll give it a hard time while it's trying to establish itself. And once you get enough soil in there, you just want to gently press it down. Make sure that the plant seats itself inside of the cup. This is going to be its new home for a little while. And just a little more soil will finish it off. And at this point you want to take a look at it, make sure that it's seated nice and firmly, that you have soil throughout the tonsils all the way down. The cup needs to be full of soil in order for the capillary action to happen, which is basically the process of the soil absorbing the water from the bottom of the Grobal up into the top, keeping the root zones moist. At this point we have it transplanted, and you simply drop it into the Grobal. It's that easy. Next step is going to be to add water and nutrients. To do that, you're going to utilize this handy little Nutriport in the front and the view window underneath that shows how much water you have in it. At this point you can see there's no water. Simply cut the top off one of your sample packets. And squirt the contents into the Nutriport. This will go into the bottom of the reservoir and make it easier for the water to mix as you pour it in.
Now we only want to use probably 1 packet a month.
You typically only use fertilizer once to twice a month. It really depends on the type of plant you grow. So it's really important to save any information that comes with your plant because it's going to tell you how to grow it, what kind of care your particular plant needs. So really crucial to keep that information handy. For this particular plant, we are going to feed it once a month with nutrients. Every other time we water it, it's just simply going to be water. Just like out in nature, they're not always going to absorb food. They'll absorb water as well when they need it. But at this point, you have a planted baby Grobal. You can see I barely filled any water in there, so we are going to add a little bit more to make sure there's enough water to moisten it. Make sure the Grobal's nice and clean. Set it in a place with plenty of sunlight, depending on what your plant's preferences are, and voila, you're done.
Great.